And now for some good news, everyone. First up, from Aaron Reed, Florida has a First Amendment problem. A trans teacher has won the right to be addressed by her proper honorific. One of Florida's many illegal bans having to do with trans people forced residents to only address each other by way of titles representative of what was on the addressee's birth certificate, no matter how inappropriate that may be. Funny how the same people complaining about compelled speech are literally trying to compel speech. Other Florida laws are likely to face a similar fate, since state laws that conflict with the U.S. Constitution generally fail legal challenges. From Pink News, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly vetoes a trans healthcare ban. I want to shine a light on her reasons why. In her veto declaration, Governor Kelly said the bill, quote, tramples parental rights. Elaborating, this divisive legislation targets a small group of Kansans by placing government mandates on them and dictating to parents how to best raise and care for their children. I do not believe that is a conservative value. That's certainly true. That's one area both conservatives and rational people agree on. It isn't the role of government to tell people how to live, to come between them and their physicians, or their parents and physicians. Conservatives have made a big deal out of parents' rights over the last several years, even at the expense of children's rights or even safety, despite shouting, protect the children every chance they get. So they tend to piss off their own voters when they try to strip parents of those rights. Kudos to Governor Kelly for standing up to the panic mob and protecting the citizens of Kansas. And now, the big one. A federal appeals court ruled that a West Virginia trans sports ban violated Title IX. On Tuesday, the Fourth Circuit Court found for the plaintiff in Jackson versus the West Virginia Board of Education, whose case was basically that as she has been openly trans for half her life, the ban, which would force her to compete as a boy, constitutes discrimination based on sex and would expose her to considerable harm. The court found that no argument offered by the state mitigated either of those facts, and indeed the defense admitted both facts are indisputably true. The court's ruling also helpfully pointed out a forthcoming federal regulation pertaining to any activity receiving federal financial assistance, 88 Federal Regulation 22860, which is already approved and slated to be codified at 34 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 106.41. In summary, it states, the Bostock decision demonstrated that discrimination based on orientation or gender identity constitute discrimination based on sex, because both can only be understood in terms of an individual's current or birth sex, respectively. Additionally, Executive Order 14021 guarantees students education free from discrimination on the basis of sex, specifically including both orientation and gender identity. That order also directed the Secretary of Education to review existing regulations, including those pertaining to Title IX, specifically its non-discrimination mandate, and ensure their compliance with federal law in this respect. To that end, the updated regulation will clarify that Title IX prohibits discrimination based on gender identity and sex characteristics, and that any rule adopted by a federal aid recipient that could limit or deny the participation of a student in an activity with sex-related criteria based on their gender identity must demonstrate the rule is necessary for a specific educational goal and that it minimizes harm to the affected students. All that is to say, even if the currently bonkers Supreme Court overturns the Jackson ruling, the forthcoming federal regulation will still nullify all the existing transgender sports bans, and new ones will have to demonstrate a damn good reason for what they're trying to do and what steps they'll take to protect the trans students in the process before they can be brought into effect. And that, dear viewers, is very good news. For the Transpositions, I've been Ember Belrad.